absolutely blown. I was just watching the halftime show on the screen. We were having a bop outside with the rest of the Fortnite team. Yes, I know no one has referred to it as a bop for about 30 years, Kelly.
Well, to age us even more, when Mr. Brightside came on, all of the 30-year-olds in the talent show were going crazy, and then anyone younger than that pretty much didn't know what was going on.
Gold star goes to Zeke. Zeke has got some moves. Zeke literally looked like an in-game character doing the dance moves. I thought he was going to bring out the floss at one moment. I was like, Zeke, that is so true.
I think he did. I think he actually did a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit.
That's how much he loves Fortnite.
It's true.
Well, how would you describe your moves?
Terrible. That's one word.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I was like a fist pump, little groove on the heel, a little groove on the heel. Can I say my MVP from that performance?
Yes.
Man with the sax.
Oh my gosh, how could you not?
And that was live. That wasn't a pre-recorded guy just sax syncing. I don't know what the saxophone equivalent of lip syncing is. He's like literally walking down a stair. I find it so hard to walk down the stairs of the main stage, let alone some narrow stage steps while playing a saxophone, Kelly.
Oh, as soon as the two friends guys jumped up there, I got scared. I didn't know if they had any harnesses on. Is it one friend? Is that what you would call a singular of the two friends?
That's when one of the friends misses the jump, but he didn't. He's been working on those glutes. I literally need to know his exercise routine because he came out and he jumped, and that's when my mind started to be blown to the point where I don't think I have any brain cells left because literally that performance has made me lose all thought because it was so awesome.
I mean, the drummers were also incredible.
Yes, they were. Yes,
Great
they
job,
were.
you guys.
The drummers,
Thank
the
you.
dancers, everything was thrown at this one. And now our players are going to throw everything at these last 3 games. Do you like the segue?
That was good. That was really good.
Thanks so much. Been working on it.
3 games left. And there's obviously a few duos that we have to talk about that are on the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, there are. Do you think that anyone is going to overtake Cooper and Miro? Because they are 100 points clear and they're so consistent in getting to those end games.
I mean, not only do they have the highest amount of eliminations right now, but they also have the highest average placement. But you can't ignore Pixie and Cheatin', who, for the first time since the FNCS World Cup, where we had Aqua and Nyrox get back-to-back VRs. They are the first duo to do it again. So it has been years since we've seen that. That is an incredible accomplishment. So there's definitely a chance for that duo there.
Well, I can't wait to see what the desk has to say, but I also hope that Zeke is going to show you guys some of his moves.
No. Listen, Frankie, you're not going to bait me into that, okay? Look, those moves are way too powerful, okay? But, man, that was a crazy set by DJ Producer 2 Friends. And I gotta agree with Frankie, when Casey on the sax came out, I was just not ready. Like, I was like, yeah, this is amazing. And that just dropped, and I'm just jumping like crazy. That was so much fun.
It's so fun being in here, right? Because we're standing up here on the desk, and the whole ground is like shaking as this is going on as well. And then the flames start going off, and it's like, whoa. Why can we actually feel the heat from those flames?
I want to keep the party going, bro. I don't want to stop. Let's just keep it going. Tell them to come back out, man. We can keep it going,
Just
man.
keep going while we continue the competition. Just let it
Sure.
run wild. And of course, I don't know if y'all saw, they had the wristbands. So as they're changing the songs as well, it's just the arena lighting up kind of in like tandem with the songs. Man, that was amazing. Thank you so much, DJ Producer 2 Friends. We appreciate y'all. Casey on the sax, we became best friends.
The GOAT.
The GOAT. Now, as we kind of get ready here, we have some time before we jump back into the game. The players have kind of taken a bit. They're stepping back, they're getting some food, talking with whoever they need to talk to, and focusing their minds. Let's take a look at the stats by the numbers. Let's take a look at how things are kind of going here in the grand finals. When we take a look at the numbers for most eliminations, you can see Cooper and Miro. No surprise, currently sitting in first place right behind them, Pixie and Cheatin'.
Yeah, I mean, you know, first and second place, obviously eliminations are very, very important. But Peterbot and Bilo with 12 sneaking up there for me. I feel like they just started to warm up in game number 3 there. We saw Peterbot, the mechanics were coming out, and that's what he's known for, by the way. So if that can continue that momentum, they might be flying up the leaderboard.
Yeah, it feels like a blast from the past from those guys, right? Obviously, back when they won an FNCS many seasons ago, that's the kind of thing we saw from them so often, right? Popping off high elim games, and it's good to see them getting in on the action today.
I was curious to kind of get your thoughts. So how do we slow down Miro and Cooper right now? Are they contested? Because it seems right now like they're uncontested, or if they are, they're just winning off every spawn. But they are so dangerously far ahead right now.
No, I mean, seriously, what it comes down to is making mistakes out of them. And literally game number 3 was that, right? They made a mistake. They had so many things to come back from in that game. I mean, positionally, right? They were pretty much out to the west side of the zone. They had no builds. somehow finding the refreshes in that game tells me that they are even ready for those situations that are tough, especially in Fortnite competitive, to overcome, which just means that it might be hard to stop that Cooper Miro train.
Yeah, I think the one interesting for me, no matter how many games we play, no matter how deep we are into this competition, if Thomas actually walks out, the crowd are going to make noise. And that's what just happened a second ago. He's clearly back from his break and they're all, you know, on top of the world. It'd be good to see those guys start to get in on the action a bit more. You see Malabuka getting ready there, Thomas locked in, focused. These off-spawn battles against Canada and Aegis, they've been going so back and forth, man. And mentally, it must be tough because even when you win, you know this might be the only opportunity you get to actually play out a game, and there's even more pressure that gets added with that.
Yeah, and here we kind of turn attention from 11th down to 20th. I want to highlight 17th place, Hen and Vasquez. We've seen double Rift Island claims. You can see the 30 points. The 30 points, just under half of their total points from Rift Island. And it's still just so crazy to me. More duos aren't just sending it. Because actually yesterday we saw a moment where there was like 4 duos that landed on it, and they're like, okay, look, you got here, that's fine, we'll just let you have it. But at least they went for it.
Yeah, and I actually saw some respect there in game number 3, right? We saw Datus and Stain, right? They were right under the Rift Island spawn, and we were like, oh, look, they're probably going to get it. And then they just didn't go up for it when I really feel like they were in a position to. So still a lot of these teams not willing to go for it.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because like you said, they went from showing so much respect there for not going for it. Then the next game they get in a limb and they start, you know, doing the gritty on their opponents, right? So clearly, you know, where they choose to give and not give respect is a bit different, and it depends on who it really is. I'd like to see some more teams get involved in that Rift Island gambit, right? I think, again, for a team to have claimed it twice now in Hen and Vasquez, you can't be letting that happen if you're the rest of the lobby, right? If they now start to, you know, put on better performances to add to those Rift Island points, then you start looking at a team that can start to contend.
Okay, I like it. Let's take a look at the numbers for Rift Island. So obviously we highlighted them, Hen and Vasquez, 30 points. Okay, so Batman, Booga, and Rapid, we did see that not that long ago. And then remember, we've got the Forecast Towers being 3 points each. So Cammy and Seti and Bryce and Chubbs have also claimed 2 respectively. So, and I think the other thing we want to kind of, it's not necessarily gone under the wayside, but that forecast can be so powerful for a duo. I wonder if that's why Seti and Cammy, though they've kind of been in somewhat shambles situations, have still played so well.
Yeah, for sure. I think you look at the game played without forecast, and they're already a team that positionally is just going to dominate everybody else. Like, they're going to be in good positions, and they're going to make you think, how on earth did they know where to go, right? How did they maneuver their way into the spot? You give them the forecast, how you give them the intel, the insight beforehand, and it's like, yeah, they're just always going to be in a good spot. And even though the performances, maybe there's a bit going wrong in terms of just the fighting ability and where they're on the same page there in box fights, they're still going to make it deep into games with those forecast towers.
Yeah, and if we think about the strength of Frenzy as it stands right now, of course, it is going to be the fact that it is so close to that forecast tower. So the fact that they're kind of like splitting their drop spot right now, I really think it's in favor of them. And, you know, we're talking about how, you know, we really don't think that they've had a Cammy Seti-esque game yet. That forecast tower has to help them out in that category so much.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm getting word. As much as I enjoyed that halftime show, games are ready to go. Let's send it up to our casters. This is game number 4 of the FNCS Global Championship.
That's right, we're up here. We have Taco joining us right now to, of course, close out the remainder of the day. We already know it's getting intense. Players did have a short break, though.
The very first 3 games today have done nothing except deliver action after action after action. So many insane moments, and we're here to get plenty more because game number 4 is ready to go.
Let's get right back into it. Game number 4 is here, and it is time to take our way into the Fortnite world. Let's jump off this bus. Let's see what's in store for us.
And that's the thing, Monsters. We've already seen so many of those 50-50 skirmishes, particularly this one here at the racetrack. You can already see these players lighting up the sky. Kanata, Azures, Malabuka, and Thomas. It's been a relatively even split so far, but this is the time. Thomas and Malabuka need this, but it's Azures to touch down first.
The game-defining moment right here. Malabuka's already set on the backside, pitched between 2 sides. Azures gets the first one. Kanata gets the follow-up. Thomas is hurt, and the finish. But there's another team here, and they get completely taken out, possibly to the hands of Iamzo and Rise, who were just next door.
Spinks actually, with the final elimination shots there, And that's part of the risk as well. With some of those early third-party contests, it's just such easy pickings.
The sad part about that is Kanata has won that drop now more times than Thomas HD and Malabuka. So Kanata and Agers also had equal amount of time to run up the points on the scoreboard, and they were doing it, finally finding their stride. That's going to be a huge setback for everyone here. But entertainment for us nonetheless. We get to jump in now with Clement and Kaizen, who already have an elimination. If Grols is by himself, then he's having to run
off in the distance as well. Seems as though Par's gonna meet an early demise. Baka tried doing his best to recover, but it's just not enough. Giannis and Reason going to collect the wins, and that's primarily just them getting the luxury of being able to continue farming out resources, materials. But we can take a look back at the action that we didn't get a chance to witness the first time around. Reason with a nice drop down from the overhead view. Baka just unable to find those finalizing shots. It's unfortunate, but when you're in those 2 versus 1 situations, it's hard to come out on top.
It makes you wonder if Reason and Giannis didn't, come out of the lower bracket. Baka and Pars had such a great upper bracket day 1 just to qualify here, and today have been put on stalemate, put on ice all day long, just no room to warm up. Talking about teams that haven't quite had room. Our OCE duo here, Worthy in a 1v2, but no, Teeny claps back and finishes the deal, gets his elimination points, gets the credit, and finishes it off when it matters.
Worthy, though, making sure to not go down without a fight. At least a minor setback there for Misha and Teeny. But the revive will definitely be a success. Decent amount of action sprinkled across the north side of the map so far. And here, one more time, Teeny, Misha, they've got Fanine and Moneymaker in their sights, but at least for right now, Teeny and Misha, after that last little engagement with Worthy, they're gonna take a second, recuperate in the process for actually looking to challenge against Fanine and Moneymaker.
Back on over though, Murstache, Tayson in the battle here. Tayson playing the high ground, allowing Murstache to really lead the pace down low. This is the first time we've seen them rotate this south early. And Slappy trying to really force the fight on Trulix, but the timing must have felt good to them because Chicho and Trulix were also fighting at this drop. This has been a triple contest area, and Thoric and Bolts are also looking to potentially swing their way in. But no, not this time.
Snazy and Podeside, though, you can always tell the moment that they come up on the screen, because the French community here in the arena always making sure to let themselves be known for their favorites. Podeside lying in wait, though. Accident had absolutely no idea for what was waiting right around the corner here. A nice pickoff, though, for Podeside and Snazy. Curious to see what they choose to do, though, with that knock. High likelihood that they look for that strat they've been trying to repeat, where they can farm some damage.
They've done it, though. They've continued to, if they can't get to a mushroom, they're using med mist, they're using everything in their power. We love the let's go Snazy cheer and chant there as well. Hey, if you were to join in on any of those you want to celebrate with, that's what this is all about. Carmi set up on high ground, looking solid, scented, and polarized. Need to find their footing here. Can they do it? We've only seen 3 games. There's 3 more games in this finals, grand finals run up. So anything is possible. As quickly as you flew up, you can come down, or there's room for others to come and join you at the top.
Right now, Senate, he's trying to spread his wings here up against Gab0 and Polarized to back him up. Not in the sights, but right now, Polarized and taking their time before making the attack. Want to make sure that most of these edits actually belong to them before fully pushing in. How many times have we seen players run into the wrong box after all? Nice peek of the shoulder there for Polarized. But it seems as though more could be joining the fray. These guys aren't able to find it soon enough. Nutty, Gab0 applies some decent pressure, but again, keep in mind, Muzz and Paper, they're seeming to close in.
I was just about to say, what is happening right now? You got Muzz and Paper just saying, hey, dog, y'all want to fight down here? Y'all want a clean fight? Well,
Hey,
guess
yeah,
what?
you guys can fight.
We're not going to allow that to happen. They come in and put some shots down, and again, with that visual sound cue, everyone here knows for sure there's a team lurking. It's not worth it. Sentinel and Polarized make the rotate out. We might see some NA on NA action here. Agent Paper trying to set up right now. They say, all right, you take your scraps. Now they might be looking to fight Nutty and Gap Zero here.
But the fact that a simple introduction of another party to your initial skirmish, and that's enough to disperse the engagement altogether, because you could just tell, sent it polarized, they recognize how much they need these points. Some of these teams looking to hit a second wind of sorts after that halftime point.
And also just the respect they have for the opponents here. You really have to. Let's not forget, for Match 4 Grand Finals, to get this far into the tournament stage, you had to qualify based off your performance all year long, and then qualify for the weekend, the most difficult and the most competitive of formats we've seen so far for the Fortnite community. Edgy's on the move, Duke's on the move. More action unfolding on the other side, though. We jump back into it. Podesai and Snazy continue looking to strike here on the opponents in the vicinity. They allow for the pickup, it seems.
Oh, this could be dirty, though, from Podesai and Snazy, depending on how they actually look to play things out. Exodus just having gotten an opportunity to rejoin and just quickly sent back again to the elimination process. It's going to be in vain here, unfortunately, for his streak to continue. But Snazy and Podesai, they still got to work their way from deep outside of the zone. Granted, it is early enough that the tick damage isn't really anything to be all too concerned about, but you don't want to find yourself too far outside of proper positioning where some of these other teams might be towered up.
Yeah, they're going to be all right. They're going to be fine. They have the surge now to back it up. What a sneaky little play for Peterbot now. Byla, they need to score some points too if they want to jump back into that top 5 conversation, because up top we have Cooper and Miro potentially starting to run away train with no breaks. Let's watch it back though. We jumped away from Paper for a moment. It seems like as things started to ease up, they come on in, they catch a down body, and Paper was quick on it. And you know he's feeling good about that one. That was an excellent elimination and a great timed fight.
And if you're Nutty and Gap Zero in that instance, almost can't fault them for wanting to commit. Seemed as though he was nearly through that revive process, just a little bit longer, and he might have been able to make a huge turnaround play there. But Cammy, just inside of Frenzy Fields, finding some nice shots with that twin mag, and that's going to be a decent collection of surge tag damage for the time being. Relatively split right now from Cammy. Seems as though both of them trying to prioritize different directions, but some of these teams definitely encountering some issues running alongside the edge of Storm. It seems as though other teams are already taking note of the way that the zones are starting to pool and just doing their best to try and control the flow of the lobby.
Yeah, and it's not just Noxie and Crisp here who have a problem. The team in front of them are in the fight. These are two of Asia's best going head-to-head. Datus and Stain, Zagu, and Peppo Clip down low. The FNCS champions of the Asia region have been flexing on the competition, but Seti and Cammy have been keeping them cool as they have been the kings of Frenzy so far. The battles for the weather station have been very evident in this game now. This is that back half strategy we talked about, showing you how many teams want to try to increase their odds.
Well, think about it. Zagu and Peppo, I distinctly remember a content piece from yesterday where they specifically stated, we will trade our lives in order to secure these forecast towers, because that is just how impactful having every single visualization of future zones can be. It does make a massive difference when teams are able to control it. And right now, Giannis Reason, they're trying to control what's happening between themselves. Axe Force, Rubab. But it's a lull in the action because other teams just keep taking note of the action.
Battle of the Germans here. Already 2 eliminations for Giannis, showing that they had success at the Slappy Shores. Axe Force and Robab Kebab definitely a strong 2, but then you have Pixie and Cheaton just nearby, ever lurking, hungry for more points, already on 2 victories. We were wondering how have they done it. It's just timing. Their timing has been impeccable. And if they can time this battle correctly, they'll be right there, earning themselves a good number of points. But no, things slow down. The weapons cache might just go to this team here of Axe Force and Robot.
Could be massive, though, for Pixie and Cheaton when you consider that their drop is super far north on the map in general. Relatively
Oh my gosh.
And that's all it takes.
He's having a hard time. He's been rebooted like 3 times this game already and found by different duos at different stages. What a difficult time it has been.
It would have been a lot more menacing, though, if it was Podesai and Snazy somehow. At least it's a different duo this time. But Seti, sure to make sure that Exodus is not going to be able to get revived. He's trying to pressure in as quickly as possible, does not want to let this happen. Exodus, though, actually managed to get back up on his feet. Another attempt. Success here for Striker as he continues to do everything in his power to ensure that he gets to play out this match as a duo.
At this point, just let him be. He deserves to stay alive right here. Seti and Cam are going to take this rock and go ahead and get as much distance as possible. Should be just fine to go ahead and get to the zone, but no strangers, Cammy and Seti, to playing deep zone. We've seen it just about the bulk of the games on the day. Meanwhile, Miro and Cooper have continued to have success in the middle. Let's catch up with these teams. Let's catch up with what's going on with Vivid.
All of the games so far throughout the day have featured some very early aggression, but that is not the case for Cooper and Miro, right? They're just landing over at Rumble Ruins all alone. And honestly, one of the best things about this POI is going to be that Temple Vault. So much loot in one spot to make sure that they can quickly get the loadouts that is needed. And the other thing good about this POI is that it is centrally located on the map, so they can get some Storm Surge and some early rotations out.
Thanks so much, Vivid. It's definitely clear that their drop at that Rumble Ruins POI is certainly making a pretty impactful mark on their run so far today. And what's even crazier still is when you think about the fact that Miro quite literally has more FNCS title wins, being 5 over Cooper's finals appearances. This is only Cooper's 4th finals appearance, and yet here they are, game number 4, leading the lobby on that first place in the leaderboard.
Well, with Vico and Pink on this Rift Island, they're looking to lick their lips, rub their hands together, and pray for something good right now. And that's 15 points their way, but they're going to have to fight for it. Moneymaker, Fnagen understand that they have to come back and make a big turn, a big stride up the standings, and that's why the battle for the Rift Island checkpoint is going to be important here. Vico and Pink would love to secure this right now, though. It would really make the difference.
It's 15 points. The fact that Hen and Daisuke have managed to secure 2 of these Rift Island objective capture points is insanity because it stacks so quickly. But Cooper, Miro, they seem to have other intentions, and the game is afoot here for these two as they continue trying to see whether or not they can close in on any of these other teams surrounding the Rift Island that might be a little bit more distracted with each other still.
Well, it's going to get pretty interesting. We have 1st, 3rd, and 4th place all nearby. Make that 5th place as well, because Vaniac and Carby are under the Rift Island, so a lot of our very important performing duos so far just had to hit here. The first, Tina and Misha. They've had a good game so far. They finally found their footing here, but they're going against Pink and Vico, who were just warmed up after the first 3. Already, though, what can they do?
Pink's got to be careful, though. Pink and Nico don't want to wind up as the team being sandwiched with so much commotion happening here at the Rift Island. Still trying to break through these wall edits from Misha and Teeny. But the capture point, it's been claimed. Vico and Pink, that is a massive 15 points bonus, regardless of what happens next for these two. But it seems as though they still want more. They've got the loot, but they want some elimination points to go with it.
Yeah, look at this. Now they have everything secured. Weapons upgrade as well. And look at all the other teams looking to scavenge what they can, essentially, from the Rift Island here nearby. But it might just be time to go for most. For Miro and Cooper, they're listening to all this go down. They have the material that they wanted from this low-ground reservoir. And for them, that's a small victory in its own. It wasn't the checkpoint they wanted. That was too risky. But the material count was welcomed.
Little rocket ram on the exit there as well for Miro. Sure, he's bound to get some decent utilization out of that. As things continue drawing up towards the north side, a lot of teams now starting to find their way into the zone, and a couple of teams still left over here at Brutal Bastion. It's a relatively large POI, and seeing all of these pre-established edits, it's got to put you on edge.
Vino's hurt, Tayson's hurt as well, but they did manage to find the elimination. Team Monaco on Monaco action, and now Rapid and Batman Booga jump in to try to put their touch on the take, and Vino and Queasy want nothing to do with it. They have to heal, they have to bounce back. They are having a difficult tournament run, as is Cold and Acorn, a lot of our favorite picks so far, struggling here. But that was just 3 games, right? All you have to do is play even better on the back 3. You can be very much in the competition, in the conversation.
I mean, we've seen just how impactful even 2 games can be.
Yeah.
And considering that we still have 2 games left to play after this one, would never want to count out, you know, or Queasy in those sort of circumstances. Following up now on Iyamzo and Rise. Just kind of surveying the area right now. So many varying levels of elevation up here towards the north side of the map. Very easy to lose track of some of these teams that might be trying to dip down just a little bit behind some of these icebergs. But Rise seems as though he's got at least one party in his sights. Just behind him though, Cheatin' and Pixie, but it's Misha and Teeny. They have been on an uphill battle the entire match so far, it would seem. And it's only gonna get all the more difficult with Teeny having just been knocked. Pink and Vico pushing in. They want these double eliminations secured. The points will make such a massive difference. And it's gonna be Vico with the final charge in. A couple of sharp tooth shots is all it takes. That's 8 points secured.
Great job as well, finding the angles there, closing the elimination set. That's gonna put them up in a sweet spot, but now Podesai has to play this one out by himself. He's gonna need the support of his community here for sure, because with only a rocket ram and crash pads for utility and no heals, it's gonna be pretty tough, but somehow he is above the surge. Here it is, he charges it up. Off he flies, out he goes. Shalom and NK Papa, this could be a great team to attack. They're hurt. He gets in, he grabs the wall, but no, slips out the backside. Little does he know, he can absolutely finish them off, and they need a set of eliminations. They need a pair of damage. Podesai changes things around. Here's the damage coming in. Gets the finish, no! Couldn't conclude. More tags from the side. Take him out. Papa will fall here, potentially, if he can't find a little more damage before the zone closes. It's Vico who's in front of him.
You could tell MK Papa wants to turn around, but he knows he's got to keep pushing forward. If Vico finds him for even a second, the zip line at this point.
Wow.
With 8 HP, and he comes across unscathed. That is incredible. Combed up for a moment, trying to get this mini shield potion off. Will successfully find them, but that's up until Basket knocks him out of the field entirely. The turn and burn, though, from MK Papa. Is Basket on the retreat?
MK Papa, Asia's last hope of the top 10 right there for now. Taken out and finished, but not before putting up a crazy fight against top 5's Vasquez. But hold up. Now we get to see this. Mira and Cooper starting to find their footing again. They need to fight for it. This is the second game now. Game 3, we saw very much similar circumstances where they came into the game and the mid-game was such a struggle. Material count, health-wise, just in general, very, very scrappy duo. They do find a set of refreshers there. Meanwhile, Seti and Cammy, complete different story. We've already know they play deep out of the storm line, but they're looking pretty fine right now. It's gonna be natural high ground. This is looking like good old early chapter days.
Cammy and Seti have definitely found a decent spot just on the side of the mountain north of Brutal Bastion, but they're not the only ones looking this direction. Uga and Threats, box just beneath them. A lot of teams kind of surrounding the edges here. Peterbot and Byla, though, they're trying to put those mechs to work. Byla gonna force his way in, just now getting barely above the surge damage threshold, but Peterbot, we've been watching him do it all day long. The elimination onto Thoric, the revive onto his teammate, and bolts will fall as well. That's the kind of refresh that Peterbot and Byla were hoping for.
This is what Peterbot does right here. This is what he does best. Solo play by himself when it comes down to clutching up, and he's got that charge. This thing hurts, it hits hard. He can finish the player off with one charge up. It's Axe Force, though. Will he become a victim of Peterbot? But no. On his first, Peterbot has to dig into his heels now. Decides, hey, I gotta get out of here. Breaks through everyone's build. Why not just cause chaos and send players flying in the process? Give it a moment. Give it a moment. You might gets one.
Sphinx probably has no idea what
my
just hit him
gosh.
between Axe Force and Peterbot. Those were some of the most destructive rocket rams that we have seen all day today. But Axe Force putting himself into some very strong positioning for the time being as a solo. It's so common to see players try to move from that very backside of the zone, but Cheatin as well, seemingly the same idea here. He's just trying to wait for everybody else to start moving first, but when you're hanging just above the damage threshold, some pressure is bound to start building up.
Well, placement points have been given out, and finally now we start to see someone inside the top 5 fall. For Vico in pink, that was a worst case scenario as they were just there at the placement point threshold. Falls to the hands of the Brazilian duo, Kitos and PH Zin. For Seti, for Cammy, they've elevated themselves enough, recognizing that low ground was too dangerous, and they're playing a vertical box here. For Miro, for Cooper, they're getting to the front side of zone. They're on the hunt right now. Miro loses him though for a second. Lot going on around him.
Miro trying to make sure that his feet are protected. How many times have we seen players shooting just underneath some of these box edits and walls that are made? The smallest of gaps towards the bottom of them, but Cheatin, again, as a solo, still finding a way to keep moving forward, and this is just so paramount for Cheatin and Pixie's run. They've got to do everything in their power to stay as close as possible, hot on the heels of Cooper and Miro, and Cheatin just looking like he keeps finding moments to find that breath of relief.
And just what an incredible story for Pixie and Cheatin. Jumping in, this opportunity coming in for final moments, so making the best of it now. Think about it. If they fall now, you give Cooper and Miro potential runway that no one can close the gap on. It is getting that close right now. Mixon, Blaha though, high ground is theirs. They've had it since the mountaintop, the first to claim it, have not looked back since. Still have crash pads and more to work with.
Very curious though to see what exactly is going to happen. These moving zones going forward, though, things could be pretty vicious considering the landscape that these players are dealing with. Going up alongside the mountain, Cheatin might be able to acquire an elimination in the process. Knock onto the Strokey there. Will be forced to use his legendary Slurp Juice. That does buy him a little bit of time here. Still has 3 charges left in that Rocket Ram as well. He's gonna make sure to utilize at least one of them. Again, just more builds being completely ripped through here.
Front side of zone is where he finds something. No, he slips off the mountain. He's got to be very careful here as it bounces back. So unfortunate. It was so close to being perfect, but instead put himself in a bad position. Another player above him. He's going to have to charge it up in no time. Vino finds him there, and Cooper and Miro now have a chance to keep running away with this here. This is their true opportunity, and they've taking full advantage of it on high ground. Vino and Queasy want to make a comeback, but so does Cammy and Seti. Another battle for height ensues here. Vino and Queasy don't get it for free.
Have to be careful here on the descent, though, with Neno on that Rocket Ram. Queasy gonna utilize some of the last of his splashes. Still has 2 remaining just in case. Right now, it's all about the mobility. Soaring sprints keeping him in the air, possibly a little bit longer than he is intending, but Miro dropping down to low ground, finding that elimination onto Vanyak, and now it's gonna be Mr. Savage as well, alongside of Iyamzo, pushing all along the sides here. But Miro and Cooper, they're still managing to stay together, at least for the time being. Cooper, though, completely out of the team, but that's the knock that they needed.
He needed the finish to stay alive there, and Cooper sacrificed himself, but it wasn't enough. Meanwhile, Seti, Cammy versus Queasy Vino on the high ground. Seti's already done enough to take one down, but Cammy's hurt too. Vino's hurt too. It's a back and forth. We may not think there's a rivalry here, but there sure is bad blood. Seti on fire, still going, but Cammy has something to say about it. Vino shuts that down.
Cammy, though, finally gonna get put into the dirt, though not by who we were suspecting. It's Bryce and it's Chubbs controlling the high ground now. Vino doing what he can from below. Cole still trying to hang on, but it's gonna be Bryce, it's gonna be Chubbs as they take another victory royale of the weekend.
From the lower bracket, fighting their way through it to the grand final stage, they have picked up a victory royale, and they have continued to win over this weekend. They are rising stars.
Bryce, the sight of you winning a victory royale is going to be one of the most enduring memories of this entire event for me, because every time you guys have success in the lobby, you just can't believe how good you are. What does it feel like to take a second victory royale in Copenhagen?
It feels amazing. It's exciting.
And what did you guys discuss in the halftime break? Because you needed the points desperately, and now you're in 4th on the leaderboard.
We got this. We're better than everybody here.
Is that literally the conversation you had?
Yeah.
Now, I know that this is a first time on LAN for you, Bryce. What about you, Chubbs? How much experience have you been able to bring to the stage this weekend?
Not much, but our skill is there, so we're here to win.
Is that what it's all about, just the skill?
Yes, that's it.
So tell me about your early games then, because that seems to be the trend here. The teams that are uncontested, that can just mat up and get their resources ready, seem to be doing the best right now. Are you finding yourself caught in early fights?
Only last game. This game, we're just playing how we normally play, get surge.
So what happens then if someone comes to you to try and get that surge?
We're better than them, we'll just kill them.
Do you believe this, Bryce? Do you believe in yourself now after you've had so many epic moments here?
I do. I think we could win.
And do you believe in this man, Chubbs?
I do.
Amazing. Well, I'm starting to believe in the two of you too. Thank you so much, guys. Congratulations, everyone, Bryce and Chubbs!
Bryce and Chubbs showing a lot of restraint, right? They could be going crazy, they could be popping off, but no, they're focused. They know there's only 2 games left to go. Now with this lead, with this victory royale and the eliminations as well, they could make a run of it. Now, very quickly, before we even get going, Kelly Link, Mini Miner, welcome to the analyst desk. Okay, now hit me.
I mean, wow. This is something that we have seen from this duo this weekend. They have got victory royales in the previous rounds. And we've just seen it again. I think there's a few question marks about whether they could do it on the big stage. I mean, Frankie mentioned it. Maybe the lack of experience compared to some of the other duos in the lobby. But they're not showing any nerves at the moment. They're on top.
No, and they were on top of that mountain as well.
Yeah.
Once we saw Mixon drop down from there. We also saw Vino, Queasy, Seti, and Cammy all fighting for that high ground.
Cold.
And when you have the mountain there, it is so important to be able to grab that high ground because it is so difficult to be able to recover from the mid and low ground. And we saw that from the likes of Miro and Cooper. Once that zone does move, it's a lot more difficult to be able to rotate around the high ground. So big shout outs to our duo, Chubbs and Bryce right there, going up 16 placement points. But Cooper, Miro, Pixie, and Cheatin' not moving anywhere.
Yeah, I want to come back to them first. Cammy and Seti, you kind of highlighted them there. We saw them, we saw Cole, we saw Vino and Queasy. My gosh, that end game was a who's who. Didn't matter where you were looking, you're like, I know all of these things. But I love here, you can just tell, if you really pay attention to the way Cammy and Seti play, when Queasy and Veno are close by and they're kind of like interacting, the way that Seti and Cammy, there's like this tiny little change. It's almost like now they're on the hunt. They can smell the blood in the water. They're like, no, you're close by. Okay, we switch it on.
Yeah, they definitely know. I mean, when you got 2 of the best teams in the entire world battling for height, it is an absolute spectacle to behold. That was such a good endgame from both those guys. Of course, making it to endgame is great to see for Veno and Queasy in particular as well. And of course, Cammy and Seti. These guys have had a little bit of a rough day today. I know you guys mentioned it on the desk earlier. They haven't actually had a good game. Hopefully, they can bring some better games as well because we know what this duo can do. And again, Kelly, that's just highlighting how they're not just a low-ground team. They're not just a mid-ground team. They are willing and able to take height.
It's just so funny how many people are saying that they're having a rough day, but they're currently in 3rd place.
Yeah.
So clearly, their rough game is my best day in the world. But Cammy and Seti, I really got to give a shout out to their aggression early on, going so deep in the storm to try and grab that remaining player before they were able to bring back up their teammate. However, they realized that once they did, they backed off and said that this isn't worth it. We don't want to get knocked down early because we want to make it to the end game, and they did just that.
And that's what they've been doing all day. They've been sitting inside of that storm. That's one of their strategies that we like to see from Cammy and Seti on this big stage. They're trying to get those heals, and particularly when the zone pulls north, of course, it goes into that jungle area where there are those shield mushrooms. Of course, there are those bounce little mushrooms as well that you can use to rotate. And we even saw them in that game using one of those kinetic rocks. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to stay back, they're trying to get out of fights and ensure that they can make it to endgame.
And another thing that they're doing pretty much every single game except for one is being able to get that forecast tower, which is obviously so beneficial. But we got to talk about the top team, Cooper and Miro. Miro just going absolutely crazy. And there was a moment in that game where I wasn't too sure how they were going to do. You can see here, 102 below Storm Surge there, and that is such a risky place to be this late in the game. But also, I mean, can we talk about the Rocket Ram in this game? I don't think I've ever seen so many builds destroyed in just 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I think the reason for that was just because of the natural elevation in the zone. The Rocket Ram is the item just to smash through so many builds and get to where you want to be without anything getting in the way, or at least breaking everything that could be getting in the way. But this is a fantastic endgame from Miro. And I know on the cast there, I think it was Monster, he mentioned that there was like 4 of our top 5 teams all surrounding the Rift Island. That's no mistake. That's no mistake. All those teams are identifying, Cooper and Miro being one of them, is that they don't have to go for Island and claim it to get all of the beneficiaries that offers. Of course, you can have so many of those mats that you can refarm. Easy high ground. There's a reason why all of these top teams are going for it, and Cooper and Miro are showing us how it's done.
I swear in the mid game, every single time that we go to Cooper and Miro, they are farming, and it has been every single game, and they are one of the best teams to be able to efficiently farm and use that mid game so that they can have a better late game, and that's what we're seeing.
And we've seen a lot of West zones today, right? Games 1 to 3, all on the West side. And of course, Miro and Cooper, they land on that West side. So for once, we're seeing a zone that isn't in their favor. And I was definitely asking a few questions about, I was like, if the zone doesn't pull their way, what are they going to do? Are they going to be able to sort of play to that standard? They've just answered all of my questions.
I mean, guys, Cooper and Miro, they have a lead. That's a 100-point lead. We have 2 games left to go. As long as they can stay out of their own heads, we could be looking at global champions. Now, we quickly wanted to highlight Venno. This man's is popping off right now. He is fragging out like crazy. Venno is doing what he does.
This is great to see from Venno, and I know their sort of game strategy and their game plan has been so masterfully crafted by his team, of course. BloodX, of course, on the coaching side of things, just doing things fantastically well. And Venno's been such a great player that's developed so much throughout his entire gameplay. He hasn't just been an all-out fragger, just jumping in boxes brainlessly. He has developed into such a fantastic, almost half IGL. He tends to take control in these end games, whilst also fragging out. What can't he do?
Well, especially when you're in a solo situation, you kind of have to IGL for yourself just a little bit because you know your situation the best, and that is exactly what we saw from Venno.
Guys, I want to break down so much. There's just so much happening in this game, but I'm getting word. Games are already ready. We're jumping back all up into the action. So casters, back on up to you.
Thank you guys so much. Always love getting that little bit of analytical insight during the analyst desk segments, but they're absolutely right. We have seen so many pop-off instances, so many different players, and I just want to see if they can keep the ball rolling here in game number 5.
Well, lucky for us, we can do just that because the battle bus is here. Let's go. Game number 5 of the Grand Finals is right before us. This is where we are now in the final stages of the tournament here. After this game, there will only be one more before we crown our champion. So here and now is the most important time of the rounds.
We're watching every single one of these teams begin to depart from the battle bus and look to drop at their respective points. It's always funny, too, when you see the players in between those brief segments, when they're pointing out which chest they actually want to prioritize on their loop paths, depending on the bus pathway itself. But right now, Thomas, Malabuka, they're trying to prioritize this drop and winning it. Big shots coming in already from afar, and that's going to be an assist there for Kanata, even if indirect. Malabuka still shuttered up, but it's not going to be enough. Kanata and Agers will yet again take over the racetrack. But again, the help from afar just did so much there for Kanata and Agers.
This is all he wants. This is all he wants to say. He came to Copenhagen. He showed up to the Grand Finals. Who had the best score at the end of it? Right now, Kanata and Agers clearly have been kings of the drop. But what can they do after this last game? They unfortunately were finish so soon. They have a chance now to at least fight for more earnings here today. There is still so much prizing on the line. The grand finals mean so much more than just first place. It's everything in between. It's your legacy. Reason Giannis getting into a fight here against Baka. Pars, Baka and Pars are about due for a turnaround fight. Finally, they get to find their wind, their chance. Baka and Pars for NA now gets put up a little bit of numbers.
A lot of NA representation so far to start things off with some of these more heavily contested areas, but as far north side of the map, Crude Harbor section is going to belong to Pars and Baka. Definitely got to be feeling really good about that, especially when you consider in the way that this fight initially started. Almost looked as though Giannis and Reason were going to get the better end of things, but Pars doing a beautiful job to just displace the two, finding that side maneuver to really just approach them from a different attacking side and just cause so many issues.
Miro and Cooper playing so well right now. Miro's won 4 of his 5 FNCS titles without securing a single victory royale. He has been literally Mr. Consistent, but based off of eliminations and end game runs, a lot of which he's done solo because he's lost his teammate, but I think he's found his counterpart in this recent major, because they've just been playing great Fortnite together.
Hey, first place might mean 65 placement points, but second place at 56 is not half bad by any means.
He's got 2 of those.
Especially when you're able to back-to-back them like what we saw from Miro earlier today in those solo clutch instances as well. Definitely not an easy position to be in. But a few teams who weren't involved with some of those early engagements, 50-50 drops, right now they're all just on the hunt to see where and when they can acquire their surge tag damage, because the surge strategies, they have been coming in hot all weekend long, but they are needed now more than ever here in Game 5.
Yeah, Brutal Bastion's an interesting spot because Pixie and Cheatin have been here. They have been here round after round, but haven't quite gotten into any of the fights. And also, what a great stat. Pixie and Cheatin are the first duo since Aqua and Nyrox in World Cup with back-to-back VRs at an in-person event at a LAN. And Aqua and Nyrox set history that weekend when they did that, only to go on and take it all away. But today, we see something completely different here. This story, the standings, of course, Cooper and Miro's their biggest task yet.
Well, Bryson Chubbs, if there's definitely a team that'd be looking to break a stat like that, they're certainly the ones to keep an eye out for. I mean, you heard the confidence in that post-game interview. We're simply better than everybody else here. And granted, the way that they've managed to creep up in the leaderboards might just be backing them up on that. Teeny and Nisha trying to pressure in onto Kitos and PXZin. A nice drop down from Teeny as well. Gonna make quick work of Kitos, and not much left for PXZin to do. Watching his teammate go down so early before you could really wrap around for the assist help.
How impressive so many of these first-time LAN appearance players have been, including Fnajin and Moneymaker here, as they continue to find their stride here, taking out Bobby. Where is Larpex? I think they got the full... No, instead they pushed everyone out, so just got a single elimination, but this is great.
Larpex just barely managing to squeeze away, but he's got to be careful which direction he chooses to run. A couple of other teams lurking just south of the Creaky compound, so depending on the angles that he approaches, some of those other teams might find some trouble. Muzz and Paper, all the while, they're just trying to chop out Shari right now. Moderately successful job. Paper looking to push from the front side now. Muzz, another wraparound, but Giras has finally managed to reunite with his duo, so Paper, Muzz definitely reconsidering exactly how aggressively they want to approach this, especially given Paper's loadout. They might need this refresh monster because it'd be nice to have some extra materials this early on.
Yeah, Paper just uncertain, making the call. Hey, is there someone up there? I'm not sure. That slows everything down now. Muzz tries to scout for the information, but doesn't find anything from it. That right there will tell them, okay, Giras and Shari on the run. There was no one there. Little pump fake is gonna save them. Now we jump over to Sphinx and Foyo. We saw Moneymaker chasing large specs, but look at that. It might have cost him now as they run right into the solid wall that is Sphinx and folie, already a team that has taken a victory out here today. So confidence is definitely there.
Moneymaker, though, won't be able to find the shot just yet. Cancel that. Seems as though he did sneak one up onto Sphinx. A little pause here now. Fnine debating which augment he wants to select. Maybe if he can find one that might help him out in this circumstance. But folie and Sphinx, they seem as though they might run in to finish. Well, Moneymaker had started. Warpex not too far off from where this little skirmish is taking place, but again,
No, he got finished. It looks like Sphinx turned around and
finally managed to
with
cut
an
him off in the
immediate
process.
headshot. Yeah, immediate headshot right as you said that. Sphinx finds elimination, takes him out. Well, there it is. That's 4 points. We like that.
From the frying pan into the fire, essentially, at that point. But usually how the story goes whenever players are left in those solo situations. Teeny and Misha, though, how many times have we seen this one before? A curious place to be, though. May or may not work out in their favor, but their patience could also play off big.
They're in enemy builds right now as well. I think they're onto something. I think they believe there might be a reboot card here or something worth holding out that will tempt these players to get closer to them. Zagu and Peppo are clearly rummaging around right now trying to find something. So for Misha and Teeny, the cheeky smile on his face right here. They're definitely cooking something up.
And bro is looking devious in that player cam. I mean, you got the fingers crossed. He is waiting to see if he can scoop something up here. For Bryson Chubbs, they've got a different nature of attack. One that's a little bit more towards leading the charge, so to say. Here over at Shady Stilts, just trying to get some good utilization out of the mud that's available for some faster rotations. See if maybe they might run into any teams that they could acquire some surge tags on as well. And seen quite a few teams sort of hovering around the edge of that north side of the map, just trying to gauge whether or not investing into a full rotation would be worthwhile, given some of the elevation that comes with it. It's always nice when you can get a good aerial view of the lobby.
Definitely that information download is so important, especially in this game. Stacey and Potus on the move right now, trying to get situated. The weapons cache for them, but Teeny, Misha, the ambush finally pays off. They catch Peppo out in the open and then come crashing on in with a rocket ram. What a way to start this one off. Very explosive, very aggressive. Misha taking a wall by himself, no builds. What in the world is going on right now? He says, oh, that's wood. I like that. That's weak. Gets right inside. Zagu has to clutch this one out right now. His teammate's hurt. Peppo's on the run. In goes Teeny. Zagu puts up the numbers, though, but Misha finishes the job and clutches out for Teeny.
And that was massive as well for Teeny and Misha, because we saw them waiting for so long. They had practically, well, they had essentially no builds to work with because of the fact that they spent so much time waiting. So they needed those materials. But I guess you can just let other teams do the work for you if you're able to find the eliminations.
Not looking good right now for Cheatin', though. Very low on HP. Trying to decide, man, what do I do with my augments? More importantly, do I utilize these slab juices now? Or should I wait? Pixie in the meanwhile, trying to scavenge around here, seeing what he can find as he's got more health to spare. The problem is Baka is up on the hill. Duos are in the vicinity, so there it is. It was all worth it. They get to battle for this, and they should get rewarded here shortly with everything they need. Nice. It's gonna bounce them right back into this. Our second place runners, Pixie and Cheatin', have a chance now to bounce back.
That was definitely the care package that they needed more than anything else right now. I mean, we saw just how down low Cheatin' was starting to look with some of those builds. Pink and Vico, on the other hand, a team that's doing relatively well as far as resources are concerned. But now the question is whether or not they'll get a chance to fully utilize them, because as they make this rotation through Frenzy Fields, seems as though they've managed to spot out another team on the horizon. Whether or not they're aware of the fact that it's Queasy and Veno is a different story entirely, but given the circumstances and where both of these teams are rotating out of, it wouldn't be unlikely for Pink to be aware of the fact that it might be Queasy and Veno rotating out from Kinjitsu.
Yeah, and Kami Assetti right there at the frenzy as well, just to the left, so. A lot of danger in that area. Meanwhile, dead center, Acorn and Cold stick to their tried and true strategy. Worked last game. Up until now, it's been a little bit of a middling performance, but it only took one to jump them right back into the top 10. Had it not been for Cooper and Miro's ridiculous run, I mean, it would be that much closer inside the top 10. But the conversation's surely skewed right now up towards the top. But Acorn and Cold jumped into it. Queasy and Vino have as well. Tayson and Mustache now have room to make their way into these conversations too, taking down Alec and Worthy there. Nicely done. They have the zone more or less not too far, so they'll be balling out here shortly.
Can't say I'm surprised to see Mustache and Tayson trying to get a little bit more aggressive into the action here, understanding that they need to make up some points to keep themselves in the conversation of that top 10, top 5 territory. And well played here by Tayson and Mustache as well, just staying so close together here as they charge Oshi's last remaining hope. Unfortunately for Alex and Worthy, they'll have to wait for our final match to make another debut, see whether or not they can catapult themselves a little bit further up the leaderboards. But look at this, Rift Island. We've been seeing a decent amount of action pick up as the games go on here. Axe-Force immediately getting lit up, trying to farm some materials off the roof of this big building here on Rift Island. Fortunately for him, he's got Rubab Kabam toss him a couple of heals, but at the same time, Misha, Teeny, they managed to fly right in to join the heart of the action here. Axe-Force and Robot might not get this as freely as they initially believed.
I love this because Teeny and Misha, these last couple of games have just been menaces. Pushing everyone, playing for Rift Island. They're trying to come back. They're trying to make this money right now. And they're not willing to give it up without a fight. That's what it's all about. This is exactly what players fear the most, though. Rift Island being highly contested like this. When teams are desperate to jump up the standings, Misha and Teeny are doing it here and now. They got to get in. They got to get closer, or they'll end up giving it away.
Seems as though Misha and Teeny may be hoping that they can try and catch Axe-Force and Robob on the rotation out, especially if some other duos try to get involved here. But Axe-Force and Robob, these guys aren't the only ones going up top. But a massive benefit here because Pixie, it's Trulex, it's Chicho running Pixie down, and they find the knock. Trulex gonna look for the finish. Certain that he eliminates Pixie in the process there, and yeah, it's just cheating, trying to hold it down by his Losum, but he's locked outside the zone. He's gotta find a way to rotate in, but the edge just being so well guarded right now.
Surely has to do with a little bit of greed. They were doing pretty much just fine, but trying to go in there to see what they can find out, and they just get met with a team. Not what you expect at all. Cheating out, thinking the same thing. Shows himself for a second, and there were players waiting. Booga and Threats don't drop a beat there. The damage was catastrophic. Cheating now has to see if he can pick up his teammate's reboot card and pick him up, but you're gonna have teams like Booga and Threats just looking in, trying to see if they can get points gifted to them.
I mean, even if Cheatin does get the reboot ban at this point, just how beneficial is it really for himself and Pixie? You have to imagine that Booga and Threats haven't really strayed too far from their initial position. They recognize the fact that Cheatin is a solo. They're still hanging out midway between Cheatin, Pixie, and where they need to be as far as the zone is concerned. They might just be able to shoot down Pixie before he even gets a chance to land. Pixie doing his best to try and juke inside the air, and well, it does seem as though Booga and Threats have started to move off now, recognizing that they need to keep pushing forward. But Cheatin and Pixie, they've got a lot of ground to cover.
Does seem like trouble in paradise right now as Misha's turning online. Queasy possibly has fallen as well. Big trades happening everywhere.
It's going to be Queasy and Mano that have actually met their fate here in game number 5. They'll have to wait it out as well for the battle bus to depart in match number 6. And who better to be the one to possibly shut him down? It's Mastroki and Kylie.
Wow.
Applying so much pressure. Queasy and Menno, they were in 7th place here. And now they've got to sit and wait to see where this leaves them on the leaderboard by the time it gets to the completion of game number 5. And that's going to be all it takes. Seti and Cammy sure to have seen that one light up in the elimination feed and possibly got a little pep in their step for it.
Yeah, the conversation now for Cammy and Seti is surely, can they start to close this gap and rocket their way on up to first place? They do have a little bit more work to do. Pink and Vico are still up. Cheatin' obviously is brought back into the game with Pixie here. This competition still standing strong. Miro and Cooper, we get to touch base with them. This hasn't changed for them. Miro and Cooper are struggling in the mid game here, but Pixie and Cheatin' are as well. Except one might say Pixie and Cheatin', much worse situation as they were finished off before they can get to safety due to the hands of Threats and Bugha once again, finding them there on the Storm's edge, waiting for them.
You could just tell that Bugha and Threats were not going to let that one go easy. And now Miro, Cooper, they've just got to continue to try and play things out as cool, calm, and collected as ever before. Behind them, recognizing the fact that they might have some pressure on their backsides, Miro trying to be attentive towards how they continue to rotate in. Couple of shots, some damage being applied. Cooper, though, pausing only for a moment. Slight regroup needed. Nutty, though, taking a massive shot. The shields are correct. Some well-placed shots there from Cooper. And that's going to be enough to put a pause to Brazilian duo's pressure points.
Taco, will we be calling this early? Will we be calling the Global Championship early? It just might become mathematically impossible if Cooper and Miro have their run right now. Their closest competition is so far away at this point. Cammy and Seti have a chance now to keep this tournament run alive, but the trophy is so close.
Maintaining nerves is easily one of the most difficult aspects of being inside of this sort of situation here, especially when you look at the likes of Cooper, who again, relatively fresh as far as experience is concerned, but when he's got such a veteran like Miro by his side, it's no wonder they've done an excellent job so far in maintaining their momentum and maintaining their mental as well. But whether or not other teams are going to get a chance to play spoiler, we'll have to wait and see, because right now, as things continue to evolve, Zone continuing to pull just across Rumble Ruins at this point, and all these other teams to the north side now starting to trickle their way back in. We have to remember, Rumble Ruins, that's also Miro and Cooper's starting point.
Yeah, this is home territory, this is hometown, and they're looking to do just that. But everyone's hurt here, but Miro and Cooper finish the job. They get another set of eliminations, the refresh that they needed. And this has been the story game after game. They're hurt, they need an elimination, they need a refresh, and they actually find it. One of the few duos that can legitimately just do it.
And this is starting to feel a little bit too good to be true almost. I mean, if I'm Miro and Cooper, I almost want to panic, because it's like, I can't believe that I just keep finding the most perfect refreshes of all time. I mean, Cooper, practically max mats. Miro definitely in a good spot. And the fact that they have so many materials now split between them, that they have so much familiarity as well in this POI, specifically because it's their initial drop. All they got to do is try to continue playing things through. You can see Miro making a push towards the high ground as well.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they want to play for height right here and close this chapter out, but no. Things start to change, teams start to rocket ram on up. Destruction is ever so near. Hen nearby, you can hear the shots. Miro makes the call out, this guy's hurt. I'm going for it, I can use these materials. Finds the wood build, but no, another team below him. Has to back up now. For a moment there, it was almost all over. Shots come in again. This time, Hen claps back for a little bit. And it is getting very, very dangerous here. Bryson Chubbs are still standing. Vico and Pink still in this as well.
Decent discipline, though, from Miro to not try and push that situation any further. He knew that Cooper was simply too far away to actually play backup, and they don't want to necessarily forfeit this positioning. Storm Surge actually is going to be Miro and Cooper's best friend. Another 4 points to be added in the elimination process. I don't think it gets much better than that.
I think he knows that right now, so we'll see if he ends up going for the loop. But Vico and Pink have a lot to do, a lot of work to put in right now, and a long rotate to make here. Almost no material. They would love a refresh and hopefully a rocket ramp to get on out of here, because this is going up and over. The last two terrains have been very difficult to traverse here. And they have a crash pad, so off they go. Up they go. Miro's out. Rocket ram in full effect here. Lands him on the side. Cooper's here to meet with them, but a team's behind them. Good block there. Keeps him up for a moment. Now, looking for the refresh. It's cest here in front of him. So close, yet so far. Meanwhile, Cammy's on height, holding things down as Duo meets with them. The big heels come out. They need a bounce back. They need these wins.
Cammy and cest might be at the very top for the time being, but just across the way, it's Kanata, it's Agers. These zones continuing to force these players pressing forward. Well played, though, by Miro and Cooper, and that secondary height layer after the rocket ram ended. Not the flight path he was hoping for, but for Bryce, man, talk about a tag path. Those are some massive shots that he just landed. Gonna buy him a good chunk of time as well to just pop this big shield potion. Make sure that he has 100 full shields, because he's going to need every bit of it.
For Bryce, this is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars if he can hold on. Vico in Pink as well. Top 5 is definitely the sweet spot to be in. And any higher, you're extremely happy, but Vico by himself on the move right now. Looking to swing his way around. 5 builds, teams in front, no one behind. Make that 3 now. Lurking. Can he get a refresher? Can he find a player? Sees one to his right. No one's behind them, playing so smart right now. Miro comes dashing through here into another end game. It's all placement points from here.
Cooper as well, landing just slightly further apart from his duo, but they found their moment. Good chop of the builds there onto Chicho. Gonna displace him momentarily. Miro nearly managing to collect it in the process. Trulix now forced to rocket ram away. Cooper, Miro finally getting a chance to reunite here, but they've got to keep pressing forward. They can't take a moment to pause or relax. So many players pushed in.
Turns around, burns down Vico, the savior of his run. He's still on fire here. Kupo now by himself, trapped in the storm, and he falls inside the top 15. Bryce is still up as well. Bryce wants more. He needs more.
If Bryson jumps, Bryce can manage to clutch it out as a solo. Victory Royale might be within his reach here. Crash pad forward, the roaming redeploy gonna get him straight to the front side of the zone. Polarized in the box underneath him. Bryce, though, not taking a second to pause. He just wants to look for a closing shot. If he can find some more materials to work with, he might just be able to make it happen. But it's Agers now on height, pressing up. He loses Kanata, though, in the process. Finds Pars, though, in the middle of it. A massive shot, but he falls to his demise.
Ran out of builds there in the moment. The win could have been theirs, too. But now, back onto the hands of Bryce here, our last standing player inside the top 5, still trying to make a run for it. Swinging his way between builds. He's trying to get caught up and gets trapped in the fly's web there. The spider's web, top 10 now. Threats in Booga, threats in this. Oh my gosh, so many solos still standing here.
We've seen this once already from Threats this weekend, though. Can he make it happen again is the real question we have to ask. Next is Threats hiding just above the water's edge. Recognizes players in the water, and he strikes and he finds it. That's going to be Polarized run come to an end. Threats, on the other hand, refresh on the builds, exactly what he needed. All of that brick just going to continue to protect him all the longer.
Lucy's still in this. Give it up for Lucy, Copenhagen. He's finally got a chance here to make some more. 5 elims, 9 total for the team. He still has builds. Threats is looking very healthy, but there's MK Papa who's gonna fall there. There's a player on high ground. Okay, so every team's on a different layer. He's gotta look around here. Lucy needs to make a big decision. Find Shalom. This is Asia, but no! Clock from behind. Threats does not let the beat drop at all. And up he goes, and now he knows it's his chance here, but no, he falls too! And Chico takes it all away.
A massive hit there at the very end. Trulix and Chicho needed the points, but right now what I need, Monster, is to hear from these two.
Wow, well, well. Chicho and Trulex, you have done it at the last moment. You've bagged yourself a victory royale and currently 9th on the leaderboard. Tell me about those final moments.
That's really good. I got soul clutched. Trulex died. First moving. He got full max mats. So I just got height in last moving and won.
Yeah, and you managed to maintain the focus. What was it like watching all of this go down?
So it was crazy in first moving, in like second moving, I landed in like four people in the box, and then everyone died. So I just told them like to come take all the mats and just play the game out. I gave him a rocket. He went to the zone and did the impossible.
It's so tough in the top 10, boys. What are you playing for as we head into the 6th and final game of the FNCS Global Championship?
I mean, we're just trying our best. We're contested every single game at one of the worst spots to be contested at. If we were uncon, we 100% placed the best, and we're conned by, he says, one of the best Ospan players in the game, but clearly it doesn't look like it.
Who?
50. Karski is in top 50.
Who is the off-spawn battling duo that you're having to face each time?
Banti and TK.
And clearly, you guys are coming out on top. Good luck in the final game, boys. And congratulations on your victory royale. Copenhagen, please give it up for Trulex and Chicho!
Trulex, Chicho, congratulations, the victory royale. It's gotta feel so good going into game number 5 with only a single game left to go. Getting that's just gotta energize them so much.
Especially in the way that they did it as well. Of course, Chicho saying right there, solo clutching since, was it first moving zone? Incredible stuff. And that just shows how important it is to have that teammate that can make those big calls right there at the end, which Trulex was doing so well.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Trulex communicating that you have to take all of my material that I have, everything that is in my loadout, and use this. And the fact that Chicho went for high ground as a solo towards that 10th zone was so courageous and really ended up working well for him.
And that's something that we like to see out of solos in endgames. It's very, very easy to sort of box up and try and play as much
big smile on his face.
Oh, he's loving it. This is for good reason, because he's just done something right there that's so confident in going for high as a solo. So many players will just sort of back off a little bit, be a little bit more passive, but it's the players that do take huge risks like this, even though you're a solo, are the ones that pay off. And look at this from Chicho.
We did see this play very similar from like Cammy and Seti, Queasy and Veno, right? The difference is when they chose to do it. We kind of did it in these other much larger moving zones with like 25 people left. Here in this like 1v1v1, you're like, okay, it's me and 2 others. If I disappear from the equation and I reappear someone else and slam down, crack all these builds, it's gonna be enough. It's gonna give me a moment to try and strike. So incredible. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. We have 1 game left to go. Can anyone stop Cooper and Miro?
All right, well, let's, do the math a little bit. It's 65 points for a victory royale. If they get double-digit eliminations with 10, that's going to be another 40. So 100 points is not going to be enough if Cooper and Miro go down immediately and then Chubbs and Bryce get the best game that we have seen so far. Then there is a slight possibility that, of course, there is still Pixie and Cheatin' who have a slight chance.
They do. I was looking at that leaderboard right there. 27 eliminations for Miro and Cooper.
Crazy.
And throughout that game, we saw exactly how they got to that number. These guys are W-keying goats. I don't know how they're doing it, yet still staying alive. And something that I noticed there throughout that whole game was Miro was so confident in their Storm Surge strategies. He wasn't even carrying a shotgun throughout the mid-game. Their strategy then, going into that 7th zone, 6th zone situation, they try and go for a big refresh. Then he picks up the shotgun. He drops the assault rifle. Then he has that SMG and shotgun to play so well in endgame. And the way that they're taking walls, of course, we have Miro who's actually spraying the wall, and then Cooper's the one that's claiming it. So well played.
And Cooper and Miro, when they ran out of builds in the very end of that game right there. You saw that they waited, stayed on low ground, and where a lot of people will try and stay at the front of zone so they can kind of peek behind them, they stayed behind and rotated just on the edge, and were even able to get another elimination in that moment just because their positioning was so smart. They knew that it was going to be so chaotic, either on top or in front, so they stayed in the back corner. It was perfect.
Just disgusting. Their average, going into that game, their average placement, 5.25.
Wow.
Just nuts. Now, before we get going, it's highly likely we're looking at our global champions, but what I want to focus on is the prize money. Yes, $1 million, a championship axe, a championship trophy, and a title. But keep in mind, as we watch these duos go head to head, think about this for a moment. Second place and third. If I'm a duo and I can get a single point difference, that is literally $250,000 of difference. So y'all need to make some noise, pay attention, because every single interaction is going to be huge.
That's absolutely right. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars between each of these places. There's so many different storylines. The story is not over, even though Cooper and Miro are so far ahead. And I mean, who knows what can happen? We saw it at Invitational. Will they get landed on?
Ooh, could you imagine Cammy and Seti taking a page from the book of Queasy and Vino? We'll have to wait and see.
I would love to, but you know what? We've got something special lined up for you. We've got our man Levin2K on the stage to get us hyped for game number 6.
The final game is here. It is time to crown some champions. Royal Arena, are you ready? The players on this stage have given everything of their being to be here for this moment, to be here for this trophy. So I need to give you everything you've got. I ain't starting this game until we tear the roof off this building. Royal Arena, are you ready? It is time! Game number 6 is here!
Here we have it. Game number 6 is here. The Royal Arena is ready, and the grand finals couldn't be more hype than this. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see how this all plays out. We have so much to give out, so much on the line.
Almost terrifying for a second there, listening to Levin on that stage going absolutely crazy alongside all these fans here in the building. You guys have been ecstatic to witness and watch you cheer on. But some of these players still need your energy for one more game here. Royal Arena as Thomas HD, Malabuka. They've managed to survive the initial drop, but the damage is still yet to come next because Malabuka, Thomas, a little bit further away from Kanata and Agers. They wish to play this one out to give themselves the best opportunity possible to work their way up the leaderboard. Could see some action coming back, but for Pixie, Cheatin', trouble for sure. Pixie already knocked. Cheatin', though, might have an opportunity here to revive his teammate.
They're off to a pretty rough start right now. This is gonna set them back time, resources, and most importantly, damage, as that is the hardest to come by after you start losing these opening moments. But it does make you wonder, why couldn't Kanata and Agers just split racetrack before? Why couldn't they survive a little longer? They clearly played so well when they were able to survive, but that's a story for another time today.
It's not
for now.
necessarily just Kanata and Agers at that point, though. Thomas and Malabuka wanted that just as badly as them. And right now, neither side really faring all too well for it.
Well, we're gonna have to put a button on it. Grand Finals Match 6 is here. Cooper and Miro have an incredible lead over the competition. And that is, of course, the battle for $1 million. But back at the racetrack, there's a little more action going down. Kanata and Agers are on the hunt. I spoke too soon. They want to close this one out in good fashion. NA versus EU all weekend long here. And EU has been the one to pay the price so far, but both times fully situated here to 2v1. Agers and Kanata close the deal here. Thomas HD left to pick up the pieces.
For Agers and Kanata, Not a whole lot to grab there off of Malabuka, but at the same time, 4 elimination points is 4 elimination points, and they'll be more than happy to try and take away. Kanata and Agers, though, seeming as if there might have been a little bit of a rise of interference there in that elimination process.
I was gonna say, find out where that puts Kanata and Agers. You know, they might just have that late tournament stride comeback. Hey, there's still plenty of money on the line here. A lot to fight for outside of the bragging rights. Vidil and Mr. Savage, though, in the meanwhile, are fighting up here against Thoric. And I got the update. It looks like that puts them at 13th place. Not bad for a team fully contested. Meanwhile, Vidil, though, claps back onto Thoric. Nicely done for Mr. Savage and Vidil.
If there's ever someone who loves a good box fight, you're definitely going to be looking at Vidil here. Kylie for Strokey, also trying to see if they can win their own little mashups here. Deeps outside of Steamy Springs territory for Strokey, though. He's a massive pump shot. And just like that, gonna be forced to take a step back here, leaving Kylie on the offensive, but Kylie's got some great early on to Datus, though. No chance that he's gonna be backing up Stain anytime soon. He's gonna hide behind that tree. 2 versus 1 pressure, and Stain just not able to match up. But Strokey and Kylie will win this one for the time being, but Datus might still be able to collect the reboot card, but he's got to be careful that he doesn't get Elam too.
Just doesn't get better than that when your team is hitting you shots like that. The backup can't even come in to support you. Axe Force and Robob. Robob had the run of his life last game, really turning up. And this was the same story. It's all early game fights. They didn't find much. They were hurt, but no! Sniped from behind! And Axe Force is gonna pay the price too as Sherry takes the elimination. It's Paper and Muzz here. They know this team had to be hurt because Robob had full advantage before that happened. And Paper is devastating with that sniper, but Breacher Shotgun's gonna let him open up any door he pleases. They find Gyros, big tags there, not a finish, but he's hurt.
Absolute miracle that Gyros did not go down in the process there, though. But Muzz, Paper, they are relentless with this charge. Jerry doing everything he can to try and create some distance, but just look at how far apart the split is now. Gyros left to fend for himself. Paper, Muzz now have their choice of pickings. Seems as though they're going to divert their attention to Gyros for the time being. Paper, though, recognizing the fact another interference play, this time coming out of Nutty, just outside of Shady Springs. And I can't believe this right now. Just the fact that Gyros and Sherry nearly managed to escape.
Mr. Savage and Vidil close the deal, close the books on Bolt's run here. Back to the tournament lobby he goes. That's gonna be it for his grand finals run. And for every team that falls now, for every team that closes their chapter here at the Global Championships, you have to respect them for making it this far. Your 50 best duos across the entire world competing against one another here today, giving us the show, of course, here in person and online. What a celebratory moment here for this $4 million land.
And just look at Cooper, boxed up so high right now. Rumble Ruins just in the center of this current zone. Granted, the zone, obviously, very large for the time being, but still, Cooper definitely trying to just be as attentive as possible to see where he might be able to secure some good surge tank damage from, because you have to remember, this team, they've been uncontested all day so far, and yet have seemingly not struggled all that much as far as their surge strategy is concerned. So they're definitely making up for the damage elsewhere. And we've seen multiple instances of them doing an excellent job while they're tarping, finding those eliminations in the process. You know, and Queasy, though, here at Steamy Springs, they've got a Pink and Vico smashed in between them. But Queasy and Etta, they want to take their time here. Don't want to panic by any means.
Not looking good right now for Pink, though, as he loses all his shield. Look how quickly Vino is coming in to constrict. No, he's gonna back up. Respects the push, doesn't have Queasy here quite to back him up, so something comes out. Something must have been a little fishy in the air, so Not worth it. The damage is welcomed here, undoubtedly. The zone now continues to move on. Now we jump back to Pixie and Cheatin'. So they have survived, they have gotten back up.
Don't want to say against all odds necessarily. Think that that initial strat was because of the fact that Pixie might have been picked off in the air off the initial drop. But Cheatin' and Pixie, they still need to ensure that they have a much easier time as far as their rotational positioning is concerned, because that's definitely something that they encountered a lot of difficulties with in the last match. Ruga and Threats able to put a halt to their attempts to overtake first place last game. And here, they're still within reach, but it's only getting that much further away because Cooper and Miro, they are not taking any risks that they don't need to.
As long as Cooper and Miro stand, the chances for others are not possible. So for now, they are truly the final boss here. Seti and Cammy, however, will still have a big mountain to climb. A lot of eliminations and a huge endgame run, at least somewhere inside the top 3 to snatch up 50 or more points.
And we can't forget about Bryce and Chubbs either. I mean, they've been slowly but surely sneaking their way up the leaderboard. Started off outside of the top 10, then all of a sudden they're top 5 now. In that top 3, threatening for top 2 position. You have to remember, it is tens of thousands of dollars differences that we are talking about here. So for so many of these players, just on the cusp inside of these top 5 ranges, Cammy, Seti, trying to ensure that Yuumi and Source can't intervene with their plans here at the Frenzy Field, but Cammy gonna look to reorient on his positioning. Sees the snipe attempt coming out from Source, quick on the edits as well. Not gonna let himself fall victim to that one just yet.
Quick response there to the sniper glint. Here's Chubbs and Bryce. This is exactly what they've done all day long. Continue to find fights in the shady stilts, find fights north, and find success while doing it. This time, to the potential Giannis, who's in front. Sniper's in hand. Bryce showing us what he's got. Doesn't quite land that, but the tags on the follow-up are very good. Meanwhile, Flixie finds a quick knock onto Kanata, so there's trouble in paradise all around us right now, unfolding here for the last game. For Pixie and Cheatin', let's get a little update real quick on them. They're doing just fine inside their home territory, but it's time to move. They can't stay here for much longer. The zone's already telling them they gotta go.
Could be difficult to get across these icy islets as well. But Pixie and Cheatin' definitely gonna use a couple of these slap splashes, not only for the slap effect, but obviously just to regenerate some of that HP that they need. We've seen how efficiently some of these other teams can be as far as those 3, 2, 1 countdowns are concerned, and it doesn't matter if you started off with 200, you might just end up with nothing in the process here. Clement nearly proving a point.
Wow.
What I was just speaking of, because Pixie now forced to expend some more resources just to replenish some of his shields, and Clement still trying to see just how aggressively he can try to lock out Pixie on this rotation.
Not making it easy by any means right there. Definitely gonna cost them a fair amount. Bila and Peterbot still standing in the distance. Cold and Acorn up as well. Seti, Cammy, Snazy, Podesai, all in the conversation here. For Cold and Acorn right now, I like where they're at. Just in 7th place here, so real chances to jump up and earn hundreds of thousands of more. Any team inside the top 10, if you take a win, you're getting paid, son.
Almost got a little scared for Acorn there on how high up he just went. But Acorn's not the one in trouble right now. It's Vasquez, 10, attempting to take out Misha and Teeny, but Teeny from the bottom, chopping out Vasquez in the process. And that's gonna be an easy double elimination there from Misha and Teeny. More than happy to collect those points. They've been a menacing duo for sure all day long, and just continue playing spoiler for so many of these other teams in the lobby.
Every game we see them taking down different teams of varying degree and skill level. Vino goes for some shots there, ends up trading a few. Same for them, continue to rotate deep into the south side and then swing around on these western zones. So the strategy hasn't really changed much. In no way Teeny gets another game where the Rift Island is next to them. They're just continuing to fight for it. They might have the best 3-game tournament run, at least for teams that were down at the bottom trying to come back. They haven't quite the comeback so far.
They're definitely attempting it, and so far, so good as far as this capture point is concerned, but you can definitely see a couple of neighbors starting to work their way into the Rift Island. Teeny and Misha, though, they're just looking to secure this capture point as quickly as possible. Again, 15 points that they could potentially acquire here on top of all the goodies that come with the capture point.
They were in 35th place coming into this game. If they secure this, they jump up into 29th. And think about before this, they were so much further down, one of the last placing teams, and all of a sudden now, they're at 4 eliminations in a Rift Island with 15 points secured potentially to be theirs now. Just really fighting their way back into this tournament here.
Look, I know that the business turret is primarily used just to get an idea of where your opposition might be at, but it seemed as though iDrop and Mappy had no idea that that business turret had even been placed in the first place. Well executed mission there from Misha and Teeny to secure the Rift Island for the time being. Capture point does seem as if it's going to go their way. We'll have to check back in on that a little bit later on, but Pixie, Cheatin continue trying to keep that threatening position here for first place. As long as Pixie and Cheatin are out, Cooper and Miro cannot count themselves as our global champions anytime soon.
Nope. But Cheatin has to be careful. Truelex and Chicha were the same team that did finish their last tournament run, so do have to be careful. Cooper and Miro, however, do have the Rumble Ruins, continue to be the safe zone for now, so a lot of time to work with here. Metal struggling as they don't really find much here, but otherwise, so long as they've gotten their tags, they should be just fine.
And given that they're bound to have spotted out some teams looking to make the rotations in towards this center part of the map, with the way that the zone just continues to pull their direction, but now, finally, they'll be forced to reposition for the first time in a while. And still, it's not too far that they've got to go, but they need to be careful with some of those dips in the elevation. You don't want to get caught out inside any of these jungle trenches.
Let's see it. Tace and Mustache on the move now. They have to move in. Zone's going west once again, so we're going to have some very interesting tournament at play. Thomas HD and Malabuka survived the drop somehow, escaping away, remaining back in it. So Thomas actually managed to save Malabuka, get the reboot card, bring him back. And they could be the players that topple the Giants up top, but
they have no idea.
I thought they did for a second. I'm not gonna lie. The ambush comes out and Miro puts up a fight already. Now he knows, wait, there was someone lurking underneath us. Be careful.
And it's not just anyone that's lurking underneath them. It's Malabuka, it's Thomas. 2 EU Titans, well, they might not have had the day that they were hoping for. They're still gonna look to try and pounce back at least a few positions on that leaderboard. And they could definitely put a devastating stop to Miro and Cooper's run if Miro and Cooper are not careful on their rotation out. But it does seem as though for the time being, Miro Cooper, they're gonna take a moment here just to collect their thoughts, fully ensure that they've got the proper position, the proper pathway. Thomas, though, he's tired of waiting. He's just gonna look to charge right through them with that rocket ram. Good shot, though, placed from Miro. And now it's gonna be Thomas. It's gonna be Malabuka looking to try and turn back. Seems as though other teams possibly having caught wind of some of the action taking place here at the Rumble Ruins. And Miro Cooper, they know they've got to keep it moving. They can't afford to get stuck here now. They need to get inside the edge of zone before other teams start trying to lock them out.
Here's one of the strengths, too. This is their drop. They know exactly how to maneuver it, so great for the time being. And they're just like, hey, look, we have so much surge. Let's just chill out. They go to the boat, they retreat back, go back to the heals that they know are there, and they play it smart. This is really showing that Miro and Cooper want that payday. They want that big check that could be waiting for them. This could be $1 million med kit right here that just keeps them in the game and away from Thomas HD and company. Every play now matters. Every play so important to the remainder of this game for them.
Could potentially give them the ultimate dead side rotation if you think about it, because nobody else is going to be trying to stick around like these two have been. So you can see other teams like Queasy and Veno, they've continued trying to just aggress ever forward into the next zones, but danger from above here. Queasy gonna need a moment just to replenish some of his shields.
You know what? Re and Ritual as well. You got to give them so much credit. They are continuing to find eliminations. They may very well be another team fighting for top 3 by the time this is all over. For Pixie and Cheatin here, they're just trying to hold on to their second place and fight their way to #1. They've already gotten 2 victory royales. Asking for a third feels near impossible, but it's got to be done if they want to be the global champions. Cheatin, Pixie running past the team here. Don't go for the peak, but instead play defensively now. It's Gap 0 in the box next door. Another team lands on him. Who is this? It's Yuma.
Yumi and Source could pose a huge threat right now for Cheatin and Pixie. Cheatin doesn't exactly have the most ammo to work with right now. It's going to be super dependent on his Maven auto shots to connect. Pixie as well trying to break through builds with this breacher, but it's going to be Source Yumi still just outside of their box. Pixie now trying to see if he can buy his duo a little bit of time here, but they're just caught in between this entire mess.
That might have been the biggest mistake right there. They pulled Source into the box, but they are so deathly afraid of losing second place. They are getting pushed back when they could have easily finished the elimination. But this is tournament fear. This is placement fear starting to kick in here.
You can almost see the panic.
This could be one of the most expensive lessons they learn. I hope they fight back here.
It is just crazy right now how hesitant Pixie and Cheatin are, and the hesitation is finally going to cost them. Cheatin has been knocked in the process. Pixie picking up his teammate now, hoping, nobody realizing that he's just below, but he realizes now he's gonna have to forfeit it. Tries to wrap around now to UB, and Source won't be able to find the breacher shot that he needs though. Down to his last 17 shotgun shells here inside of this breacher. Twin Mag not gonna do him much good in such close combat. And Pixie now looking for the full retreat, throwing out metal builds in the process, trying to see if he can get down to the low ground, see if he can hide for a moment in the water here around Eclipse Estate. But he might just be open season for the rest of the lobby, as Pixie now, in a moment of desperation, continues trying to build for his life. Hide from this rock, hope that the chest can give him something, anything to work with.
He needs builds from that. That's all he's trying to get at this point. No rocket ram or anything in sight. He's just got to keep going. Vino shuts him down, and down goes Pixie and Cheatin before they can earn any points. And just like that, their tournament run is over. How high can they hold here? As now, Cooper and Miro have the dream run of their lives unfolding before them.
But you can see their composure. There's no celebratory factors coming out just yet. They know Bryce, Chubbs, Cammy, Seti, these are teams that could definitely make a resurgence if they're not careful. They want every point possible in this moment, and they might just find it. They've got an excellent spot just outside the edge zone here. Decent amount of ground to cover as well, but Chubbs, as a solo, he actually doesn't have Bryce with him. This is a best-case scenario for Cooper and Miro.
So tough for Chubbs, though. Again, hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line here. Life-changing money for Chubbs and Bryce. And their third place spot is standing on shaky ground here. He's by himself, but the smile says it all. He knows there's a chance here. I can still do this. Just gotta play smart. Gotta play to the instincts. Here we go. Rocket Ram comes out. He's off to the air here. Down is gonna land, potentially on a team. Meanwhile, Miro's in a fight, continuing to push through this lobby here. Placement points now to be earned. Every team that falls now will push teams closer and closer to more prizing.
Keep in mind though, Miro and Cooper, they might just run into Muzz, and Muzz, he lost Paper earlier on. Don't believe he's had an opportunity to look for the reboot either, based on when Paper was picked off. So now Miro in the backside, Merstash in Tayson's box. He could go massive here. He wants to find the shot to connect. Both teams gonna get dropped another layer here. Inside the box though, gonna be Tayson first to fall. Cooper and Miro just continue the count. 324 points currently on the leaderboard. And Cooper, despite having been knocked, Miro's still going.
No way, but he finds Kylie there too with a huge finish. And his teammate gets finished off now too. Shot from the side here, he has no more builds. He needs this refresh. If not, it's over. And down he goes. There is still a runway in front of Cammy and Seti. If they can get over 10 eliminations and win this game, that will be a 100-point run. So it's not over yet. Chubbs falls too. Down goes Bryce, down goes Chubbs. It's all or nothing. Copenhagen, hold your breath. Let's see how far Cammy and Seti can go. Will you put your money on it, is the question.
Hard to ever count Cammy and Seti out, but when they need still another 9 eliminations, they've got to find the players first. Cammy gonna rocket ram forward. Seti soon to follow. Seti, though, he's lost his shields entirely as he drops back down with the rest of the lobby. Seti nearly out of the count for real this time. And now Cammy doing what he can to try and back his duo up. Seti will find a brief moment, but it still might not be enough. They need these eliminations. It doesn't matter if they get the placements.
Here we go, Cammy on the run right now, trying to find some eliminations. Moneymaker might just be the next one, but another team's next door. Cammy has a decision to make, misses out on the opportunity to find elimination. Seti here, still 22 players in this lobby. Anything can happen right now. Should they just go on a run? Should they go on a streak? Acorn still up, off to the side. Has a solo right now. No builds for Acorn either. It's looking a little dicey here.
But Acorn doing everything he can still just to try and see if he can buy himself in cold. Another couple of points, everything matters as far as placements are concerned for some of these other teams. Sure, it might not be first, but it's still the difference between thousands of dollars as far as his leaderboard is concerned. Acorn's gonna try to take a shot from some players on the backside. KBM Rapid looking for his escape. He still has Batman Bugo with him. So many solos and a land of duos, but the zone is gonna pull back in Acorn's favor. Cammy, meanwhile, Seti, meanwhile, they're still keeping the charge going.
How are they still alive right now? Truly fighting for it. Cammy needs a second here. He's got to drink the slurp juice or at least find a siphon. Something up the two. Trulex, Chiche on the low ground here. Have to continue to fight back. It's all or nothing now. You need everyone here. They have to finish things up. They have to take out the lobby. Earn as much as you can. The chance is theirs. And there you have it. Cammy and Seti will have to fight their way up to earn as much as possible here, but what a run it has been for Cammy and Seti. Rapid and Batman Boogar in front of them. Who will be the next to fall?
It is an absolute scramble, though, throughout the low ground. Teams are just falling all over the place, and it's going to be finally Cammy, Seti, with a little bit of a layer separation here. Other teams in the mid-ground. But it's going to be Flixie first. Flixie nearly putting an end to the Polish run, but instead, Cammy, Seti turning around 180, no problem.
3 eliminations now. Trulex, Chicho on the high ground with 6. All of a sudden, trying to make a comeback here. What a tournament run it has been. You got to have nothing but appreciation and support for Cammy and Seti, who are fighting for it and keeping it interesting. Oh my gosh, 4 HP, down goes Chicho. Cammy will not give this up without a fight. Trulex now coming in, he's hurt. It's a 2v1. What you gonna do? Got a player behind him. Trulex gets broken out here. Cammy still giving him a run for it. 1 build, no builds, 2v1. He's healthier, but there are 2. Cammy goes in, no shot hit. Trulex finds it, Siphon comes through. It's now a 1-on-1 and Trulex wins the game with 9 elims. You gotta love it, but your global champions are here.
Miro and Cooper from day 1 getting knocked out of the upper bracket to standing tall here in day number 3, our championship Sunday. Your 2023 global champions even, Miro and Cooper.
Cooper looked up to Miro, reached out to Miro, asked him to play as his duo, and who would have thought it would have been $1 million coin flip. Congratulations, Miro. Congratulations, Cooper. You are our 2023 global champions.
champion.
The vibes in this room right now are absolutely insane. Congratulations once again, Cooper, Miro, global champions. They hit the ground running. A second place, a fifth place. They did not stop. Mini Minor Kelly, they had eyes and sight on that trophy. They came into today, they knew what they wanted, and they broke through.
What a start for the day for them. What a finish to the day for them. They were almost faultless throughout the entire day. I'm trying to look for things that could have been better. Maybe they could have done that differently. They just popped off. I don't know how they did it.
Every single step of the competition, from the early to mid to late game, when it came to farming, when it came to engagements, when it came to rotating, they did everything almost perfectly. It was absolutely incredible to watch this duo do what they do best, and that is consistency.
What a great storyline for this duo as well. You have the experience of someone like Miro, who I was going to say 5. Let's make that 6.
Oh, yeah.
FNCS titles to his name. Of course, picking up Cooper, an underrated, less experienced IGL who has taken the reins and led them to a huge victory by an absolute landslide almost.
And we've talked about this throughout the entire weekend. The fact that this duo almost didn't exist, that it literally came down to a coin flip. This is a story for the ages and one that we will never forget in Fortnite.
Today, history is made. And it's not only Cooper and Miro that are global champions, but that is North America put on the map. From Invitational going to EU, the global champions will come home to NA. Let's take a look at our overall result, because take a look at the prize money. This was a battle for second place. Cammy and Seti coming out from just outside the top 5. Trulex and Chicho both going head to head. And in the final moments of that game, it was enough. Cammy and Seti come out of nowhere and jump up in a second.
So many people would have said about Cammy and Seti that they're a 12-game team, right? We usually have 12 games over grand finals. This was 6 games. A lot of people would have said, okay, they're not necessarily going to do as good because they're not big game players like we've seen Queasy and Veno have. They're not going to get crazy amounts of eliminations. But they've just proved all of those people wrong. They were consistent throughout the whole day, which is exactly what we expect from them. Even when zones were just not in their favor today, they still did very, very well.
No, we had a lot of these Northwestern zones, and Cammy and Seti made sure to grab that tower every single time so that they were able to be aware and rotate early. And even though it seemed like they had some issues with Storm Surge, they did not let that bring them down, and they were able to rotate that into so much good aggression. And my goodness, that Gunner Stinger SMG that we saw Cammy and Seti using towards the end there was definitely such a huge part of their success in game number 6.
I wanted to highlight one other duo on that list. In your 5th place, the Asia region represent MK Papa and Shalom. Congratulations to them, a top 5 in the global championship. Massive, massive congratulations as we continue to go down the list here. Pixie and Cheatin started off in such a strong position, and they end in 4th place, $300,000 for the duo. This is the 4th best duo in the world.
I mean, these guys, they're going to be feeling on top of the world right now, because these are 2 underrated players. I think they're a lot more rated now after that. Coming 4th place in the EU region. I mean, what a fantastic performance those guys. Just let it fall off there just at the end. Maybe nerves got a little bit to them, but 4th place.
Well, we saw how many Western zones they were in, coming all the way from Brutal Bash and having the likes of Booga and Threats constantly block their way into zone. The fact that they were able to get back-to-back victory royales and still have these rough last 2 games and still do as well as they did speaks volumes.
Absolutely. I want to relive that final game from Cooper and Miro. We've got a listen in standing by, so let's hear it.
You're good, bro. Don't even listen. Like I said,
I'm smiling. I'm dead ass smiling. I'm dead ass smiling.
We're the best players. I got Cannon. We're the best players in this lobby. On my life, we are. Pixie died. Oh my god. I'm sweating, bro. You're good. Loosen up, bro. I know. I'm not even like nervous, bro. I'm just sweating. Hey, chill, bro. Top 25 comes so soon. I'm just gonna literally play my life.
Challenge. Top 26. See one more team to die. No noise challenge. Okay. No noise challenge, yeah? Oh my god, Pixie spectated me. No noise challenge. No noise challenge. We should chase him, bro. I swear. Can you come? Okay, yeah, no, we can. We can chase another kid. No, no, it's a solo. It's a solo. Please get to me. Okay, I'm on you. I'm listening. All you. IGL, go. Yeah, we like green. I'm in. I'm in. Yeah, same. I got dropped down. I got dropped. Go low. Wait, I'm in a box. Jordan. Get body. Chill. Got finished. I got mass. I'm playing my life.
Man, you could just, you hear that moment. I'm nervous. Why am I nervous? He already knew, right? You heard it from Cooper's watch. Dude, I got a big smile on my face. They knew going into that last game, it was just a victory lap. They had it all locked up.
Yeah, they did. And I was saying to you, Zeke, before that game, imagine going into a final game of a tournament like this when you pretty much have it all wrapped up. What is the feeling like to do that? It must be absolutely incredible. And of course, they didn't just back down. They didn't just try and double key and make a mess of it. They wanted to close out strong. And even in that end game, they played very, very well. And I mean, you can forgive them for being a little bit nervous in those moments, I think.
Oh, it is definitely deserved. And I mean, just looking at how far ahead they are from the rest of the pack, to say that you are almost 60 points ahead of the reigning invitational champs of Cammy and Seti is just another accolade to add to their belt. But Zeke, I believe we have a special surprise right now.
We do. Gents, if you don't mind putting on these headsets, no big deal. We just have your FNCS Global Champions right here on the stage. Royal Arena, make some noise for your Global Champions, Miro and Cooper. Guys, first off, let's go, guys! Let's go! You did this! You guys have worked so hard. Let's first shine a light. The coin toss. Talk to me about this coin toss. How did this all go? Is this real? Is this made up?
Yeah. I didn't really want to play the game too much no more. And I was like, you know what? I'm doing nothing better. I'm getting a teammate, and I'm coming back. I don't care. Like, I just was. I flipped the coin, and I was like, all right, we'll play on Cooper.
I mean, Coop, did you think back then a coin flip would lead to $1 million FNCS Global Championship title?
I mean, not at all. I mean, back then, I only had 5K earned when we started playing.
Oh my gosh.
Got to up that number now.
Oh, yeah.
He's the best to ever do it.
Hey, man, live in the moment. You live in the moment.
I mean, Cooper, you just mentioned it right there. You were a very underrated player, 5K earned when you started playing with Miro. Tell me what it's like to play with someone like him. What's he taught you about the game to get to this stage?
Miro's taught me so much. I mean, whenever we first started playing, it was my first time ever IGLing. But being with the best fragger to ever touch the game kind of comes easy, you know? It was great, man. I've learned so much.
I mean, Miro, landing Rumble Ruins unconned definitely seemed to give you guys such a big advantage. How did you guys use that for your success in all 6 games?
I mean, I wouldn't really say our drop shot was an advantage. Some games we were leaving with like no mats and everything. I say just being confident, honestly. Like, I know I'm the best in this lobby, 100%. I came into here, I was thinking, like, after last Invitational, I did bad, I was down. Like, I felt so down, but then I realized I'm like, I got not 1, but 2, but 3, but 4, but 5 FNCS wins, make it 6 now. I just need to be confident. I played confident, I was just running around killing people, eliminating people, sorry. We did what we had to do, honestly. Like, that's all I can say.
How did you guys bounce back, right? So you guys got knocked into the lower bracket. For some people, they're maybe looking at anyone in that situation thinking the mentals must be rocky. You guys came in today, I just thought, man, y'all came up from the upper bracket, right? Nothing changed.
Oh.
I think through the first bracket, I came here very nervous. I mean, this being my first major LAN, I mean, this is my 3rd grand finals in general.
Wow.
I came in super shook. I feel like I was really unconfident. So going into Heat 2, I kind of just played my own game. Mero helped a lot with that the day before. He just got me locked in, got me in my game. And then finals, I just never played better in my life. It was amazing.
It's insane.
That's absolutely fantastic. I mean, you know, obviously, Mero, you're so decorated. And there's so many times where I feel like we kind of almost not discredit Cooper, but it's like we talk so much about you, and then on this stage, Cooper, dude, what in the world? There was just moments where it's just you. and you were just in your flow state, and it didn't matter, man. You were going to go the distance, find those eliminations, the placement. Where did that come from, dog?
I don't know. I'm just great.
Guys, thank you so much. Can you just, final question, try and dig down, focus.
Yep.
How does it feel? How's it feel?
I mean, honestly, this feels so insane that I hope everybody in the world gets to experience something like this. This is insane. Like, I've never thought from playing video games when I was like a little kid to just sitting on stage in front of this many people is insane. Like, I can't even imagine how many people are watching me right now. This is insane. My mom's watching back home. I love you, Mom. Love my whole family. This is insane.
Cooper?
Absolutely insane.
Feels great.
It feels great. For the fans out there, what will you tell them? Let them know.
Keep moving, man. Life's gonna knock you guys down so many times, even outside of playing video games, and it's just about getting back up. If you stay down, you're gonna stay down. Like, that's how it works. You guys gotta get up and keep moving. That's my best advice.
Cooper, you want to say anything, man? FNCS Global Champion.
I mean, coming from me especially, just chase your dreams, man. I played this game for 3 years, having little to no earnings, and I'm on the main stage now being great. Feels good.
Let's go. Royal Arena, make some noise. Look at these teams. The fans behind you. Let them know. Before we get ready to say goodbye, let's toss it up to the casters to get their closing thoughts on the competition.
Miro's come such a long way, so has Cooper. And yeah, man, it's such a heartwarming, conversation to unfold there, especially with the way Cooper says, hey, put in the practice, keep going at it, and next thing you know, you could be there. Because once that was Miro too, and now look at how far he's come.
Beyond earned bragging rights for the both of them, and Miro especially adding yet another FNCS champion accolade to his count. 6 is insane. The fact that you have made it that far is ridiculous, and Cooper, really looking forward to seeing just how many more you might be able to add on to that, because at this rate, it seems as though the sky's the ceiling for you, man.
Yeah, definitely. For the millions at home too, follow our champions online. We definitely see the stocks going up, so you guys deserve all of your support and everything that you've earned so far. But from us here at the desk, myself, Monster D-Face, the best taco, Jacob PR, who of course had the opportunity to cast all these games, we thank you guys from us up here. We're gonna send it on down to Zeke to close this out.
Man, emotions are running high. It's hard not to get emotional. I want to get you guys closing thoughts.
I mean, the day as a whole was crazy. The weekend as a whole was incredible. And I mean, we got here, right? We got here from a whole year worth of Fortnite competitive action. I want to say a big thank you to the players, of course, that have put on such an incredible show throughout the entire weekend. The fans that have turned up here, not just today, from yesterday, the day before as well, from all of the times that we got to meet everyone, and everyone's been so lovely. Honestly, every single person I've got to speak to has been absolutely incredible. And to all the people watching at home as well, this is what Fortnite is about. These are the stories that this game can create. It is magical, and I wouldn't change anything for the world.
It has been an absolute pleasure working with all of the talent that we've had here, and you guys especially as well. I've been loving being on the desk with you all, and like you just reiterate, all of the fans, all of the players to showcase what Fortnite has to offer. Our amazing production team as well. This has been such an experience, and one that I will never forget. And Zeke, I thank you for, being the captain of the ship.
Being goofball supreme. That is what my job is. To everyone, thank you guys so much. From the talent crew, from Vivid, from Levin 2K, from Frankie Ward, from these two, your casters, the production crew, from Epic, to the fans, to the players. This is all possible because of you guys, your passion, your love for the game. It's hard not to get emotional, but man, as Minnie said, this is what this is all about. So we just thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you for your love of Fortnite. We cannot wait to see you all for 2024. So until then, as always, we love you. Keep yourself safe, and we'll see you on the battle bus.
Bow down.
Bow down. Bow down. You see the gold on me, man? You see me shining, right? Hey, I want it all. I want it now. Give me the throne, give me the gold, give me the crown. You better kneel, you better bow. Give me an axe, give me a map, I'm hunting them down. Yeah, always had to struggle, so I had to be resilient. Always in your feelings, cause you know I'm worth $1 billion. You ain't get it out the mud, so I gotta bury ya. I don't care who carried ya, I'm breaking through the barrier. I break through, I'm a foreign nightmare, I go straight through. We ain't scared over here, better play it cool. Look, I know I'm the one, they ain't make two. You better make room, I'm the one, I'm the only, I'm the king. Run up on me, and I'ma break through, break through, break through, break through. Got a check, then you own me. Give me that. If you the best, come and show me, and I'ma break through, break through, break through, break through. Yeah, I don't care what mode we in. Start me up, I'm going in. Strategy Napoleon, I'm causing pandemonium. I'm so catastrophic, pull your plug right out the socket. If he ever out of pocket, I'ma make it so chaotic that you gotta make a move when you see me coming through. I'm the man with an axe and a bad attitude. Do the math, cause my damage 100 times 2. Give it everything I have because I never plan to lose. I'm a champ, I'm a boss when I knock at your door. I'ma chop, 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 chop you down till you gone. I'm a real renegade, I'm on fire like blaze. Call me Midas when I touch them cause I know I'm getting paid. All I do is what I do, I do it well. I've been shining in the dark, I don't know if you can tell. Is you ready for